What's going on, everybody? Zane here with Everything Vive. Want to welcome you back for another episode. I am joined by Ronnie. Ronnie, how's it going, man?
It's going great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, dude. I've been moving, or at least I moved over the past week, which was exhausting. But that's part of the reason that this episode is coming to you guys a little bit late. I just finally had my studio set up, ready to go and start recording some things. So I apologize, or we apologize for the delay. But truth be told, Ronnie, as I mentioned to you beforehand, my Vive isn't even set up yet. So I think we're going to chat about some of the games you have been playing, at least on today's
Yeah.
episode, and maybe cover a couple of news items as well. But how are things on your end?
No, things are great. Yeah, I can imagine moving, trying to figure out where you're going to set up the base stations is kind of one of those things you didn't really think that you'd have to do again after you set it up the first time. But
No, well,
it's
we were in an apartment, so I knew eventually I was gonna move. But it's funny
yeah, sure.
because I forgot who we were talking to. Is that one of the developers? I think it might have been Nathan Burba of Servios way back when. But just talking about how home design is gonna work now, or you know what I mean, like in terms of, for me, like when my wife and I were looking for places to move to, I had to factor in, like, okay, where am I going to put the Vive? Like, where,
It's so
so
funny.
it's just like, are people
Yeah.
going to have VR rooms, or, is this going to be part of their like entertainment rooms or whatever the case is? So still trying to get that figured out here. Hopefully we'll get that sorted out soon so that I can jump into a lot of the games that you've been telling me about.
Yeah, no. There've been a lot of cool games and there's, sorry, drop the mic.
You're good.
No, yeah, all right. Yeah, no, there've been a lot of cool games that I've been playing recently, and there's a lot of cool stuff coming up in the near future, like budget cuts. So yeah, I mean, as far as this week, I mean, I don't think we're gonna talk to it at length today. I might actually record maybe like a solo piece or something in the near future about my experience with Arc Park, because that game, I mean, it's not necessarily something I recommend for everybody, but if you're really into dinosaurs, it's kind of cool to check out if you can pick it up on sale. The story there is that that game is just a cool title to check out and kind of think about what VR could be like if you were able to kind of relive some of your movie experiences, some of
AKA
your
Jurassic Park.
exactly. And spoiler alert, like as far as my impressions go, it doesn't live up to that, but it definitely raises some thoughts and questions in my mind about what might be a good way to do experiences like that. But yeah,
Okay.
that'll be something.
Yeah, well,
That'll be something we talk about more in the future, and then
I want to
yeah,
jump into that, and then we can have more of a discussion rather than just, I guess,
for sure.
getting information from you. But yeah, no,
Okay. Yeah.
that's definitely exciting to me, especially with a couple episodes ago, I think we were talking, or it might have been the last episode with like Ready Player One, and talking about how all these nostalgic cinematic experiences, being able to like relive them. So I think Arc Park, it's obviously it's not there yet, but I mean, like you said, I think it could definitely bring up some really cool
Yeah.
opportunities for those
Let's talk.
experiences.
We'll do an episode in the near future that talks about my impressions of that, and then you and I can just kind of riff on no pun intended, uh, riff on some of our ideas for what might make cool cinematic experiences in VR. But yeah, this week, I mean, no shortage of real gameplay ish games out. I've been playing a lot of Beat Saber, so
Yeah.
for
So do you want
for
to do
most
that?
people,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, let's.
Let's
Mo,
do.
mo, oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say let's do that first then, if you're ready to chat about that, because I know, even though I haven't had a chance to play that, I think I mean, it's I've heard nonstop great things about the game, and people are really excited about it. So I would definitely love to get your thoughts, and then maybe once I have a chance to jump in as well, we
Yeah.
can chat about it too.
No, for sure. I mean, the coolest part about Beat Sabers and the team behind the game has been hard at work getting ready for it to be released. They're just a couple of a really small team, a couple of guys over there that have been working on the game, from what I understand. And yeah, I mean, the coolest thing about Beat Sabers is the fact that it's kind of like Audio Shield, but with just a lot more design elements going on. Whereas like Audio Shield was all procedural, and you can kind of, the advantage of that is you can kind of throw any music at the game and it'll just automatically work. But the downside is the gameplay is very limited in terms of what you get to do and how good the levels are. Like the best way to describe Beat Sabers is it's like a VR version of DDR where you're hitting the cues with lightsabers. I mean that's essentially, and you're able to like swipe up and down and like do different motions, and everything's been designed with that in mind so that each like the tracks that are in the game, there are about 10 tracks I believe right now. They're all designed to go with the visuals in each of the levels, and then all of the audio cues that you have to hit with your lightsabers are all designed keeping in mind like how you would be swiping. So if you really get it down right and you kind of memorize how the tracks play out, you can get really good and really fast. And it's definitely a game that is super accessible. So anyone, I mean, I had a friend at GDC that hadn't even played, hadn't tried VR since the DK1 days. So he was playing on a Vive for the first time, and he was able to jump in Beat Sabers and have a blast. Like he came away just super excited. And likewise for people that are super into this and want a game that they can go back to again and again. I mean, I played through the first 5 tracks right away and was able to get through them with okay scores on normal. But like after that, it was actually pretty challenging. Like the last 5, or like once I hit, like the 5th song or so, like I was like, oh, I'm gonna need to spend more time on this to kind of, uh, figure out like I mean, essentially, I mean, it requires you to really move and really get into what you're doing, and the sound, like the songs are amazing, and it's just a really
Yeah.
really cool game from top to
Are there
bottom.
are there different like difficulty levels? Like, can you get super
Yeah.
insane with it?
No, so that's what you can. So like, I mean, I've only played the game on normal. They have easy, normal, hard, expert. I think. Like, I know they have expert, but I'm trying to think of what the names of all the. But like, I it there's even something I think past expert. Like there's a lot of different. The leaderboards are already like people are going crazy over that because I mean it's a game that if you really, like I said, get into the rhythm of the songs and kind of start memorizing how you need to be moving and swiping. I mean, there's a lot of skill involved, I mean, the songs, like the visuals and the songs themselves, are really, really well done and fit the gameplay really, really well. Like I can't stress enough, like it's one of the best VR games I've played, and
Wow.
it's
Okay.
definitely yeah. I mean, it's
High
I mean,
praise.
and there's definitely a lot of people that are out there saying that it is the best VR game released up to this date. Like it's really good. So
All right. Well,
it's definitely yeah,
I
it's something
I
that
can't wait
everybody
to
should
jump
check out.
in.
No,
Uh,
it's
my
it's
my
really cool.
my question for you now is: did you play a lot of DDR back in the day when that was super popular?
I wouldn't say so. Like I liked DDR and I wanted to get into DDR, but I was never good at DDR.
Yeah. Well, I
So
mean,
like
I wasn't like one of those crazy like have
yeah,
it all
like jumping,
memorized,
turning
but
around, and no.
But
But I
there
liked
was like
yeah.
definitely like a really cool element to it. And I remember there was like a summer, and this is like way back when, maybe when I was in like high school or something. But there was like a summer where I was like using it as like an exercise or weight
Yeah.
loss.
Oh,
Like because the thing is like I just jump in and like it's just fun to do. Even if you know the song super well, but like you're getting better at it. It's like a training
yeah.
device, and then you're like jumping around for
No,
like 30
and
minutes or
this
45 minutes.
yeah. No, this is the same. Like I've actually seen like, VR fitness trainer people online like posting videos of of them, trying the game out and doing different extras like, stuff with the different tracks, and like it's totally that kind of like that is a good way to think of it. Is it's almost like it's like DDR with your hands instead of your feet,
Yeah.
like
Dude,
using
VR
using
fitness
the
could be a
wand control.
huge thing.
Oh yeah, it definitely could
Because
be, and
fitness is
especially
like exploding or has been exploding right now. Sorry, I just
for sure.
just a little tangent. Like, because as soon as you said that, I was like, man, like people can do like boxing training. Like,
Oh
there's
yeah.
just so much. Okay, yeah, okay, I'm excited
Yeah,
to
yeah.
try this game.
No, it's definitely awesome, and I mean we're gonna have definitely more detailed coverage in the near future. To kind of go in depth a little bit more on what Beat Saber is all about. But yeah, first impressions, just like that, I had only gotten a chance to play a song or so when I was at GDC. Now I've had a chance to spend more time than that with the game, and still super excited. Like, it's a game that I can't wait to let my wife try out. Like, we just got back. Like, we've been busy this week, but um, like, it's a game that you want to show people, and it's definitely one of those types of experiences that you can't have anywhere else. You can't have in any other platform. So
Cool, man. Yeah, no, I remember. I think when you showed me the Vive for the first time. So this is like what, August of 2016. I mean,
hmm
Audio Shield, I think, was one of those first games, and my wife was a huge fan of it too. So,
yeah,
it's just cool to see almost like not an expansion, but just the next level of what this could be. Because Audio Shield was a lot of fun. I'm just curious now, listening to like the experience that you've had in terms of like
yeah.
how they
No,
can like
this is
up that experience.
Yeah, no, this is better, and I mean, you'll just have to try it, and then you'll see. But like I said, like the levels are themed to the songs. Like, they have visualizations that go to the music, and then most importantly, and you don't really realize how much of a difference this plays into it until you like actually play tracks that are like this. But in Audio Shield, like I said, like, everything was, they had a way of generating the tracks based on the sound. So you would just, like, put in an MP3, put in a YouTube video, whatever, and the game would kind of figure out based on the sound, oh, where are places that we should put, the objects that you're going to be hitting. Well, in this game, they don't do anything procedurally. Everything is designed. So someone had to go through that track and place beat by beat exactly where, like, what would be appearing and what you would be slicing. So, like, it takes more work to get tracks into the game, of course. It takes a lot of work. But the upside is that like, you can design a level around a track to make it as fun as possible. And one of the things that the developers are talking about is the fact that they really hope that the community is going to add levels to the game. So, I mean, they're obviously going to continue to curate and release their own tracks, and all the tracks in the game are really, really good. They're perfect for the type of gameplay style. But I'd
Oh,
imagine,
wait. So hold on, because there's 10 tracks now, if I understand correctly, right?
yeah,
So
that's
is it
right.
just open source that people can add their own tracks to it?
They're going, yeah. So it not yet, but they're working, like, they are working on getting a track creator out soon. They're, like, working on it diligently to try to get it out. I would imagine that they wanted to get that out as soon as possible, and they're just, like, making sure it's nice and polished before they release it. But yeah,
That is
like,
really, really exciting, actually.
yeah, and you'll be able to. I mean, I wonder what the software is going to look like, but I would imagine it didn't sound like it was anything like you need development shops to be able to create the levels. Like they want to make it so that,
It's
like,
like a
anybody that's interested,
seamless.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I would almost imagine, like a visualization of, like, what a track might look like from an overhead view or something. You can just kind of plop in on the on the timeline of the song, like, where you want. I don't know. Like,
Gosh, that'd be so cool.
I
Okay.
shouldn't speculate too much, but, like, yeah. Long story short is that I mean, that could be a really, really cool thing. And then imagine if you're able to then upload those tracks and get people posting high scores and all that stuff. Like, it's
Well,
just
it's just more like user generated content, which we haven't really seen so far. I mean,
yeah. Yeah,
or
if
no,
they
I
do it
mean,
right, like,
yeah, we may have, but yeah, I mean, this is just cool in the sense that, like, I mean, people, if it's in that way where it's super accessible and people can just like drag and drop things,
yep.
I think that there's a lot of really cool elements that can come out of that.
And I'm just pulling up the like a quick article. Like, I saw this posted many places, but um, like, I mean, the game had a lot. Like, people got super excited about it. Yeah, this article I'm looking at from Upload VR says that Beat Saber enters Steam's top 5 sellers in less than 24 hours. Like, it literally just, like, it hit the ground running, and
Hmm.
people were super excited about the game. So hopefully they can keep that momentum up with this track, this level editor, and and there can really be a lot of cool stuff around this game. So Yeah, it's definitely one to keep up with. And if you're new to VR, or considering getting a VR headset at some point, this is definitely a game that you want to put on your short list of experiences that you're gonna pick up.
Yeah. Okay. Cool, man. I was just trying to look up the game, but I'm excited. I will jump into it as soon as I get my setup here, and we can maybe touch base on it a little bit, or in another future episode. And
Yep.
yeah, man. I don't know. I'm excited. Like I just feel like because my VR system has been down for a little bit over a week now, so I just haven't
Yeah.
had a chance to like really dive in. And even before then, just life was busy with moving and packing and getting stuff ready. So
Ugh.
I just feel like I haven't really had a chance to explore a lot of the titles that I know you've been talking to me about, and I know like you've had
Yeah.
with the interviews and stuff that you've been doing. Like I just feel like there's some really really great content out there, which makes me excited for like what 2018 really has to bring in terms of what
Yeah.
else is coming out.
No, and Budget Cuts like comes out in a couple weeks, so
Oh my
that
gosh, so
yeah.
exciting.
So there's
Um,
just like a lot of cool stuff on the horizon, and like I said, a game like this, like when I have been playing Beat Sabers, I mean, I tend to be one of those kind of people that, as much as I play VR all the time, but I tend to break up my time in 20-30 minute chunks.
mhm.
Like I'm not generally just like in a headset for hours upon hours at a time. But Beat Sabers was a game that, like, because it's just you play the song and then you hit restart or okay and move on to the next track. You can do it over and over and over again and just like lose track of how much time you're
Yeah,
in the
you get
game. Like,
into the zone a little bit.
yeah, exactly. It's really cool and everything. Like, I mean, my only like it would be kind of nice to have a little bit more tutorial maybe, but the tutorials that are there, like as far as instructions on the screen about what you need to be doing, they're really clear and simple and to the point. And then once you start playing, like you start figuring stuff out. But well, that might be something like as far as to get really good at the game. I feel like you do have to kind of you know you will have to spend some time to kind of figure things out a little bit. But
Yeah, yeah.
that's the same way like with
That's,
DDR. Like
I
no
mean,
one,
it's with every game, really. Come on. So,
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. So like that's what like I can see like anyone can jump into this game and have a ton of fun and really like feel like they're doing a good job. And then it's just like as things get harder, if you want to hit those higher difficulty levels, that's when okay you'll have to take a step back and think about like it's going to be some trial and error until you figure out
it's
the
gonna be
best
some
way to.
commitment to really get those all the way.
Yeah, but people are doing it, and man,
Yeah,
people
yeah,
are really into it. So that's always super exciting to see, and it's an awesome tale of people that the developers are, and we'll get into all this stuff in coming episodes. But I mean, it's a small team, and they were inspired by VR that they had played, and it's just like an all around cool story to see a game from a small team like this. Number one, be such an awesome experience, and number two, receive such fanfare and great reception from the community. So
for sure. Cool, man. Well, I'm excited. I will jump into it as soon as I can, and then, like I said, we'll chat a little bit more. But I
yeah,
think we should transition to. We just had a couple of quick news items, right? Or maybe not
yeah, there
even. Like,
wasn't too much. I mean, I'm trying to think since we last spoke. I mean, there have been, they released the $1,400 price point on the Vive Pro bundle, which meh, whatever. We can talk more about that in the future, but
yeah.
yeah, there have been a lot of just news items that have been coming up about other headset releases. There was the
This is a
the
big
Apple,
Oculus week.
the,
Oh yeah, and Apple too.
yeah, because I knew you had mentioned that previously. There was like Apple's rumored to be targeting 2020 for their supposed their VR AR device in development. And
Yeah, and
I mean,
I don't know if that picture that was in the article was like accurate, but
I
if
don't think
that's if it's
I
anything
think
close to that, it literally looks like sunglasses that you're
yeah,
wearing, which to me
I
is
think
insane.
I think
It's exciting, but yeah.
yeah, I think for now, like we just need to hold our horses a little bit and wait until we
Yeah.
we see what they're actually up to. My take, because I mean they're talking about it'll be. I have no doubts that whatever they release would be an all-in-one unit, and that's exciting.
Yeah.
But I mean, if they're and Apple recently talked about aiming for 2020 to also be the timeline where they want to move away from using Intel processors in their
Hmm.
laptops, and so like so they could have some amazing processor GPU tech on the horizon, but like some of the kind of the details and some of the articles that are out there are talking about like dual 8K displays and all this, and like I'm just thinking based on where technology is right now, like it would be really really hard to meet those specs by 2020. So
But
that's
but
why like,
really, you think? I mean, look at
I
how
think
much things have advanced in what, 2 years?
yeah, but and even in the 2 years, like we went from like kind of supporting 4K to like
Yeah. Well, so
supporting 4K a little better. like
I will
like
say this, and I mean, I have to raise my hand in terms of like guilty as charged in terms of being an Apple fanboy. Like, I mean,
yeah,
I have all their products. I don't get me wrong, and I don't want this to devolve into Apple and anti-Apple discussion in the comments, but
of course not. Yeah.
I mean, I just like I have all their stuff. No offense, like to any of the other
Yeah, yeah.
things out there. Like I think Android is a fantastic platform, but for me, I started collecting a bunch of different Apple devices, and it's just nice that they can all talk to one another.
Yeah, no,
But I think one of the things that
yeah.
Apple has done really well is they're never. I mean, aside from, well, in certain aspects they are the first to market, but in a lot of like features and things, they're not.
Yeah.
And they wait and they refine behind the scenes, and then they put out something that is just absolutely killer. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so for something like this, and I'm not saying, for me, like I said, I'm just getting excited about where VR could be in the next 2 years, 2020. Um,
Yeah.
but like for me, it's just exciting to think that like if they have these lofty ambitions of where they could get to, even
Yeah.
if they don't make it fully there by 2020, just the fact that like that stuff is being discussed now, and like the
Yeah.
headsets and the resolution, all that stuff is evolving so rapidly, and to me
Yeah.
that's exciting in and of itself.
Yeah.
And
No,
a
it,
company
it
like Apple, they're
definitely
not
is.
going to put anything out and not have it, be able to
No,
carry its weight.
I totally agree, and I can't wait to learn more about. Like, I'm sure if they do release like a standalone VR AR product, I'm sure it'll be very very nice and like be a great platform. Yeah, it's just literally like until it kind of reminds me of like back in the day with like the PlayStation 3, I think, or 2 before it came out. Like there's certain types of like hype generating
Yep,
media
yep.
and stories, and like and this just sounded like, man, like that will be awesome and we'll get there one day. And I think if anyone can do it, a company like Apple would be the one to do it. I just think that it sound like, yeah, I hope they prove me wrong. It would be
Yeah.
amazing if we're, but if not, like hopefully, sometime, a couple of years after that or something like that, we'll eventually get. Yeah, I have no
Well,
idea.
either way, I'm just excited for literally any platform. I know, like, I own a Vive, but any platform to be advancing, because at the end of the
Oh
day,
yeah,
like, competition like breeds excellence, right? So like, I want the best of the best, and
for
as
sure.
long as companies are continuing to push the limit, like, I don't care who's doing it, because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
that's really just going to get consumers the best product at the end.
And some of this, I mean, the hype around an Apple VR AR headset running on like running on an Apple created chipset, that also makes me interested to see what kind of, they must really be confident that whatever chips they're working on are really going to bring new stuff to the market. Like up to
Yeah,
this
that
point they've
announcement
used.
had to hurt Intel stock, I'm sure.
Oh, it definitely did. And like I said, but like that's one of the things when AMD started releasing their latest processors, like in the last year or so, that that made Intel kind of lit a fire under them, so to speak, and they really started trying to push, and I think and if you have Apple now entering the CPU GPU market eventually, like that can only mean good things for people that want to see games and VR and AR, continue to develop and improve in the future. So,
Yeah,
and
100%.
that's getting to what you were, because I know you were. Somehow I just kind of slipped in that Apple article there.
I know
I know
we
you were probably going to talk about all the Oculus stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I mean, the whole Oculus is having a big week with the Oculus Go. I figured we could just chat real quick about your experience because I know you tried it at
Yeah,
the at GDC.
yeah. No, I mean, ultimately, I mean, the best way to it's kind of like it's a modern replacement to the Gear VR, basically, for people that don't have, you know, for people that don't have cell phones but still want to experience VR. That's essentially. I mean, the easiest way to put it is, you're able to use a standalone headset to try a lot of the Gear VR type experiences with better, more up to date optics. I mean, that's essentially like the tracking is still threed off. It's 3 degrees of freedom sensing, meaning you can't lean or move around. It's just kind of the tilting of your head and the tilting of the controller. So there's no motion controlling or anything like that. But so the screens are high resolution. The lenses do a really good job of reducing the God rays that are found, artifacts that are found in the Rift and the Vive. So like as far as just like a headset and the quality of the unit, it's really nice. And the fact that they're hitting a $200 price point, so you're getting a nice headset and basically built-in cell phone technology for $200. I mean, it's kind of a miracle that they're able to put all of that into a package like that.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
as far as
I would say that $200 to me is enticing just to
yeah,
try because
that's
and like
that's what this is.
granted like I already am like a VR enthusiast, so like I'm leaning towards potentially getting one in the near future. But
Yeah,
for anybody who has been following VR but can't drop anywhere from 500 to 1,500 or $2,000 on a computer and headset,
yep,
I feel like this is like a way to start scratching that itch and start seeing what's available, and
yeah,
in a lot of the conversations we've had with developers in the past, like this is going to be needed to get mainstream there, right? Like we're gonna
yeah,
need to have these stepping stones. So, Samsung Gear VR, people already had the phone, so that made it easy. Now you have Oculus Go, and to be honest with you, I know we're Vive centric, but you know, with Oculus being tied to Facebook and Facebook, whatever, I know they're in a lot of hot water right now for in the media. But at the end of the day, like if they can tie VR to with Facebook to have like really expand that social that social like experience with other people because they already have the baseline platform to do so.
yeah.
Like that to me is gonna be really cool, right? Like,
Yeah.
so
And
yeah,
no, and I have total faith in. I mean, the experiences that I tried when I was at the Oculus booth at GDC on the Go, I mean, they're well tailored for the hardware. They look nice, like they perform well, and like I have full faith in them. Eventually, like my understanding is right now there's not a whole lot available for it, but I have full faith that there will be. And in my experience, a lot of the kind of lower tier VR experiences do work better on the lower tier hardware. Like I've always felt it a little bit finicky or kind of weird to try to load up some of that kind of content on a Vive or a Rift compared to like how you can tell it's designed for the 3 degrees of freedom, the more limited types of
yeah,
movement. And so when you're in the lower like I can totally see like there are crazy people like us that I can totally see like a reason why you might want something like an Oculus Go to easily and quickly and conveniently kind of try out some of the smaller experiences that are out there without having to worry about trying to get them to work on the nicer headset,
yeah.
and the fact that you're able to use it on the go for so I can see people like especially maybe not so much. I'd feel a little weird on a train or a bus putting something on my head like
Yeah,
that.
maybe not a public
But like,
place, but on like an
but
airplane.
even that's what I was gonna say on an airplane where you know that you have a fixed amount of time and you're not gonna go anywhere.
Yeah.
Like in it, and I haven't had a chance to try this, but I know that people are talking about like video content and watching movies, something like that. Like I
Yeah.
could
Well,
see.
I was just gonna mention like one of the things that I was reading, and just to give a shout out to it was on Reddit, so I just want to make sure that I'm referencing it properly, but user Adelizi, Adelizi, had a really long post about. It was titled "Why You Might Want the Oculus Go If You Have a Vive," and one of
Yeah.
the big arguments that they had was the idea that like being able to use big screen and watch movies or sports or whatever with friends from anywhere, right? And like big screen, I've loved it so far, just the concept of it because the interactions that we've had, but now I show it to everybody because I'm like, imagine this is going to be like mainstream in, or it'll be widely available in like a year or two where, my friends or family living in California or Asia or wherever in the world, like we can jump in together, sit next to one another and watch a TV show or a movie or a sports game, you know what I mean? And act like
Yeah.
we're in the same room. And to me, that experience was just so cool. And the fact that like, now people can get that for $200 and be able to like have these like really social experiences of going to see a movie or watch a TV show or something with their
Yeah.
friends and family who aren't physically near them. I can like that to me sells the Oculus Go right there, or any of these
Yeah.
standalone headsets. To be honest with you, I'm not trying to get behind the just Oculus, but to
Yeah.
me
No, I
that's what
agree.
makes me excited about like this next level. Like it's not for hardcore gamers, but it's for literally everybody else, and that this is how VR is slowly gonna start
Yeah.
infiltrating in a lot of the mainstream.
No, I totally agree. And like I said, like I can see a case scenario. Yeah, that's really an interesting like Reddit uh, discussion, that you just referenced because like I can see cases where if you have a Vive or a Rift, why you would want something like an Oculus Go. I mean,
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
it's it's kind of a different product targeting different types of experiences, and if any of the experiences like just go check out different reviews of the product, see what kind of games and experiences are available there, and I mean, if it seems like it would be something that interests you, I think people should definitely check it out because yeah, it does it does what it sets out to do well. It's just whether or not lacking the motion controls and the 6 degrees of freedom that you get with
Exactly.
those better
Yeah.
headsets. If that's something you really can't live without, and if it is, like the Vive Focus will be coming out in the future, and the Oculus, they're even releasing their Santa Cruz headset in the future that's going to have all those things. At I'm sure a higher price point. So
Yeah.
so like, but this is just the first step towards that stuff, and I mean, let's face it, for a lot of people out there, even something as simple as dropping your phone into a headset is a hurdle. Like
Exactly. Yeah.
some people just want to be able to hit a power button, put the
And
thing on
go.
your head and go. And this is like, I'm sure that's why they called it the Oculus Go.
I think we got behind the name there. Cool, Matt.
But
This is this has been good. I know both you and I have a little bit of a time limit today, so just want to
yeah,
be respectful of that. But you got anything else? I think
no,
this is solid. I'm
yeah,
excited to try Beat Saber and maybe even
yeah.
potentially get my hands on an Oculus Go at some point.
No, for sure. I think you'll definitely like it, and yeah, and you'll love Beat Saber. So I can't wait for you to check it out and hear what you have to think about it.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, we want to thank you again for tuning in. We will catch you again next week. And no, we just to let you guys know, we are completely aware that next week is going to be episode 100, and Ronnie and I have no idea what we're going to do, but we will find something special to do. So hopefully that episode will be coming out on our normal episode days, which we've set for now, which is Tuesday. So yeah, tune in next week. We'll catch you guys until then. Ronnie, man, have a good one, and we'll talk again soon.